British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Emily Deneen, and here's your news update to 11. Police in Langley say one person has died in an early morning crash between a car and a motorcycle on Highway 1. Mounties say the initial investigation shows they collided before 4:20 a.m. on the highway. The motorcycle rider died from their injuries. Certain lanes of the highway remain closed through 232nd and 264th Street. Mounties are asking people with dashcam footage to please contact them. Julio Montaner, the executive director of the BC Centre of Excellence, says his wish was answered when drug inhalation rooms were brought to their Vancouver safe injection site. Clients will have access in a few weeks. The negative pressure rooms allow fresh air to circulate and clear the air in 30 to 60 seconds, and the occupants are constantly monitored by nurses. Almost two-thirds of overdoses in BC came from smoking illicit drugs, yet only 40% of sites offer a safe place to smoke. So when smoking is offered, it is normally outside in a tent. Police in New Westminster say officers might have uncovered an identity fraud operation on an unrelated call. Police say officers were called to a residence on September 11th when they discovered items that could be linked to identity fraud. Officers came back with a warrant and found more than 8,000 pieces of stolen mail, 1,500 stolen bank cards, and 50 passports. They also found a firearm with ammunition. Police are working to return the documents to their owners while charges are pending. The group representing Canada's physicians has apologized for the medical harm that professionals have caused to First Peoples. The Canadian Medical Association, or CMA, says it is deeply ashamed of its history of racism, neglect, and abuse. Métis elder Jimmy DeRoche says his apology is important, but it will be a long time until reconciliation is achieved.
We humbly acknowledge that we are on a learning journey. We will make mistakes despite our best efforts, but we commit to acknowledging those mistakes, learning from them, and continuing forward in a meaningful, tangible, and sustained way.
Quebec Premier François Legault says Bloc Québécois must vote to topple the federal Liberal government, which would cause an election. Legault called on Parti Québécois leader Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon to ask the Bloc to support the Conservative non-confidence motion. This motion is against Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and shows that the country has no confidence in him. The Bloc and Parti Québécois have previously worked together to campaign for Quebec's independence. After being asked, Bloc leader Yves-François Blanchet posted on X that he would not vote to topple Trudeau. He also says that he serves Quebec on his own judgment. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has said that he will put forward his non-confidence motion on September 24th. Poilievre has challenged NDP leader Jagmeet Singh to back him on this. A spokesperson says 2 correctional officers were stabbed by inmates and 3 others were injured in a Massachusetts maximum security prison. Associated Press reporter Rita Foley explains what went on.
All 5 officers were taken from the prison in Lancaster to hospitals. No details on their injuries. The spokesman for the Massachusetts Department of Corrections said afterwards the facility is secure and an investigation will learn the facts and the circumstances. The Massachusetts Correction Officers Federated Union posted online, and we're quoting, "How much more do our members have to endure before you decide to keep them safe? The inmates are literally running the asylum. Do your jobs," the Post said. I'm Rita Foley.
Over in entertainment, pop singer Chappell Roan said in an interview that she hopes she does not win a Grammy. She says that if she doesn't win, people will hopefully get off her back. Fans say that she is ungrateful for the opportunities that she is getting. Roan was boosted into the spotlight in the early summer months and has been gaining popularity since. It's currently 16 degrees outside with the sun being blocked by clouds. Definitely not a sunglasses day. There will be a high of 18 in the afternoon and low of 10 overnight. That's been your newscast to 11. Emily Deneen, BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow. This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
You've definitely heard of Tinder, maybe Bumble or Hinge, and possibly swiped through these apps before. But did you know that in February 2024, Bumble laid off 30% of their staff and Tinder is continuously losing paid users? To figure out why these massive apps are struggling, we asked college students what they think of online dating in 2024.
Everything that I did on the app kind of led to nowhere.
I just don't want to force meeting people and creating those relationships. It has to happen naturally.
You know, the selection of people on certain dating apps are very weird. Most people don't meet the love of their lives on there. I meet them, I get ghosted after 5 weeks, or I ghost them.
They're pretty gross. I wouldn't recommend.
If you want real love, read a book.
I understand why they would use them, but I feel it's a way to open yourself up to maybe people you wouldn't want to meet.
My friend tried it. He was on Tinder, Hinge, and Bumble for a year straight, and then he found like a princess. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was pretty jealous, bro.
I haven't really used dating apps before just because I'm a bit scared of being scammed or kidnapped.
I don't think dating apps are very effective, especially for men.
Welcome back to Double Take Discussions. As you could probably tell, today's episode is about dating. More specifically, dating apps and how they have changed the dating culture over the years. As always, I am your host, Keenan Tregaskis, joined by my co-host, Ryan Sheridan, and this is Love at First Swipe.
All right, online dating. I feel like online dating is such an awkward topic, but it's so strange because I feel like everyone has used an online dating platform before, which absolutely shocks me to find out that Bumble has laid off 30% of their staff this year and Tinder is losing paid subscribers. I'm honestly shocked because I feel like everyone I know has tried a dating app, tried some sort of website. I feel like it's just so common. So seeing those stats is just mind-blowing to me, honestly.
Well, I remember we talked about this earlier, how we're young, but also it was huge a couple years ago during COVID. That's when people had to use online dating because you couldn't really go outside. And it's just grown beyond that into a lot of people realizing they have different intentions than other people on dating apps.
I never realized people had different intentions on dating apps. I thought everyone was there to find their match, to date someone, until I experienced it myself. But today I talked to Nicole Haley. She's a dating and life coach in Vancouver with 20 years of experience. And this is what she had to say about how different intentions can cause frustration when it comes to online dating.
Or my intention is I just like to meet a lot of people and I'm not really sure I want anything serious. I just want to go on lots of dates and meet a lot of people, maybe make a friend. Or my intention is I'm really insecure and I just want to know people like me. So I'll have conversations or I just want the likes, but I don't actually want to meet somebody in real life. So what's happening is you have misaligned intentions. And when we have misaligned intentions, that's when we get hurt because we're assuming the people we're interacting with has the same intention as me. And when they don't, we're like, oh my God, I just got ghosted. Or why don't they want to meet me in person? Or why are they not asking anything? Or where did they, like, that's what happens. So it's not wrong. It's just misaligned.
I think that's a perfect example of how different intentions can lead to people being hurt. And I know on these apps, you lay out your intentions. Like you can put down, I want short-term, long-term friends or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, when you do match with someone, you expect that if things go well, you're going to get what you want out of it, without realizing that this other person who you've never met before may really want different things despite what their bio says, because they might be saying things just to get those matches, to get those likes, to get those interactions, when inside they don't feel that way.
For sure. I feel like that's kind of scary. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, Keenan, I'm guilty for creating an online dating profile and like not taking it seriously. I'll look through, see what the options are, read about people, but I'm scared to match with someone. Like I think honestly as a girl as well, it's kind of scary to put yourself out there and go on a date with strangers when you don't know where their head is at. I don't know how it would feel for a man, but definitely as a girl, it can be really scary, and you don't know how people are feeling. You don't know who these people are behind the screen.
I do agree with you there, but when we talk about how they used to be like a decade plus ago, I think there was a little less fear on either side, either gender, no matter who you are, because at least with Match.com, there was a permanent paywall, so people were having to pay to get into it anyways, and answer some security questions to verify that you're a person, to verify that you are a good person who is looking for people to date. Whereas now you build your profile, you put your pictures on, you slap it together, 5 minutes later, you're swiping.
Well, exactly. And there are payment options for Tinder and Hinge and every dating app, but it's just an option. You don't have to. There's some extra benefits you would get out of it. So I think more serious people would pay for a Tinder subscription, but people aren't doing that because you can just swipe through the app and you will have a crazy amount of options. It's so oversaturated. Everyone is on them. It's so transactional and quick nowadays, where back then it was basically only serious people looking for relationships paying their subscription fee. But now everyone is on them. You don't even have to be of age. People underage are making accounts. It's gone crazy. And I think that because of the overuse and abuse, people are deleting the app and they get it back, and they'll delete it again and get it back and kind of rely on it as a default. But people are hoping to meet people organically, and they're using Tinder as like a default option.
Yeah, well, even with the paid users who are on Tinder or Hinge or Bumble, you still have all those free users who you'd be seeing anyways. It's not like you're paying to become part of this exclusive club of other paid users, and you only see their profiles, you can only like them or match with them to indicate that you're getting together with more serious people with similar intentions to you. You're still seeing those people who are there to mess around, to just have conversations or hook up or whatever it is. But you did mention organic there, and that's going to bring me into my next point here, is that organic relationships are trying to come back. And one way that they are coming back is through running clubs, which you and I figured out when we were researching for this episode. Down in America, in New York, they have a big boom with running clubs and people going there with the effort to and the intention to date people that they meet there, like other similar people. Obviously, you're both at the running club, so that's a similar interest right there. And it's also become a bit of a trend up here. And I was actually able to interview the manager of Flight Crew Run Club here in the Vancouver area. His name's Tristan, and he shared a similar view with me on this topic.
Because of its tenure, it doesn't feel too much like people are coming out specifically for the dating or relationship style aspect of it, but I think I see it very heavily influenced in terms of how social it is.
I find it kind of funny because I don't think anyone would openly admit that they're going to a running club to find love, but there is a specific running club that does focus on that, right, Keenan?
Yeah, well, I learned this from Tristan off camera. But he did tell me about a local running club in the Vancouver area. The running club is called the Monday Run Club, but the single run club is on Wednesday, and it's called Soul Ties, where people, all singles, local singles, whatever, in the area get together for a run on Wednesday night, and depending on the color of the shirt you are wearing indicates what type of relationship you want with the other people there. Unfortunately, neither one of us were able to get through to them in time for this podcast, but it is something that's very interesting. They didn't have any really contact information, but they do have a social media page, Monday Run Club, where you can find their information.
I think that's so cool. Maybe I need to check it out because I'm clearly not having any success on dating apps. But oh my God, I did see a funny quote about the run club in New York. People were saying at that run club that it's easier to join a run club and less tiring than swiping on a dating app, which it's
it's ironic.
Yeah, it's ironic, but it's hilarious. People are really just going out of their way to try new things and meet more like-minded people, which is great. I think that needs to happen, but I found that really funny, and I found it really interesting when I was talking to Nicole. She mentioned that people just don't know how to interact anymore. I'm not sure if it's because of COVID or what it is, because of dating apps, because of COVID. People
or just texting in general,
yeah.
too. Because you can text and take as long as you want to write a sentence, or when you're talking to someone in person, you kind of have to go off the ball, speak right away.
Of course, there's so many keyboard warriors out there. I don't know who to trust.
But here's the other part. People are like, I want to meet organic. I want to meet organic. But they actually don't know how to do it. So when you go in and you're out and about, whether it's the grocery store or at like a networking event or even a social, like a sporting thing, people don't know how to make eye contact. People don't know how to smile. People don't know how to approach each other anymore. So as much as people say they want it to be organic and natural, we've lost that skill to interact with each other. And that's a skill we have to build back in. And it's really evident since post-COVID.
I 100% agree with what she's saying. And before we wrap up here, Ryan, you need to hear this stat. We talked about how they peaked in COVID, and on Statista, I found that it kind of proves this. So 2019 to 2021, total revenue on dating apps went from 124.51 million to 162 million.
Wow. In 2 years?
In 2 years.
Wow.
Can you guess what we're at now? We've had 3 years since 2021.
Oh my gosh. So post-COVID?
Post-COVID. 3 years.
Post-COVID. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Just lay it on me.
We are at 181.67 million. So that's about a 20 million increase in 3 years compared to the 40 million over that span in COVID.
Wow.
So you can see it, the arc of their income kind of flatlining, and it looks like the prediction is that it's going to continue to flatline because the expected total income come 2028 is expected to be 198.36 total revenue made from dating apps. These are the stats from dating apps in Canada. So this is our country's total revenue built up over the years.
Okay, Keenan, now that we're love experts, is it time for me to delete Hinge?
Yeah, I think we learned that in-person interactions are better for relationships.
I think so too.
Yeah, I'd say we're love experts.
I would say we are. Thank you so much for listening to Double Take Discussions. I'm Ryan Sheridan.
And I'm Keenan Tregaskis. And if you want real love, read a book.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.